My name is Vytis, go by Mineral in game, and I am the interim GM of the Boston Uprising.
And where did you come up with your in-game name?
So the story behind my nickname, it's not super interesting, but I think when I was 12 years old, I was sort of in a stage of my life where I think all of us are, where we're kind of changing our nickname on a weekly basis almost. And I remember being on this cruise ship and being, naturally as a 12-year-old, bored out of my mind, just looking around my room and potentially thinking of new nicknames. And I saw a mineral water bottle on the table, and I was like, oh, mineral, that's actually, a pretty cool nickname. And for some reason, that just kind of stuck. It went through various iterations. There was one iteration where I had, a 1 in there instead of an I, and eventually, as I matured, just became very basic mineral. So that's the story behind my nickname.
So you've had it since you were 12 years old?
Yeah, I think something around that range. I think I was 12 years old when that happened. It was definitely in my early teens.
Did you ever go through a phase where there was like X's in it or anything like that, trying to make it more cool?
Yeah. So lowercase m with a 1, and then everything lowercase, but the L was capitalized. I played Quake a lot early, and I think at that time you could do different colors in your nickname as well. So it was definitely same color for the 1, same color for the L, and then experimenting with different colors for the other letters. So yeah, that was sort of the original one, but eventually just dropped it, capitalized DM and basic mineral. So
Obviously you're pretty far along having this tag. Is there any time that you do not go by it / do people in real life, like real life friends, call you mineral?
No, they don't really. I mean, maybe sometimes in esports, but generally it's just Vytis for everyone. Generally, like, there are games where I try to change it up. I think there are obviously games where mineral is not accessible, so I have to get creative with it. I think there's certain other nicknames I've used when I've played poker or other things. But generally, I think some sort of iteration of mineral, especially since I'm kind of known by that name now, it's what I go to. Another nickname that I've used quite a bit in other games, especially if I don't want to get recognized, is idiot with a lot of E's at the beginning. So that's sort of a funny one that I go back to a lot, something that I used occasionally in poker and in other games as well. So those are, I think, the two that I flip back and forth with. But obviously anything where it's serious or want to use my main nickname, it's something like that. And yeah, sometimes just iterations, maybe add an OW at the end just in case mineral isn't available, which is the case in a lot of games. So
yeah. And then last thing, as like for someone who's coming up in the esports world, your in-game name is your brand. How important do you think it is to pick that name and stay with it as long as you can?
So I think there's definitely players who I think change nicknames and they're fine. I think obviously you want to, as soon as you start getting more popular in any game, you want that brand to stay consistent. So I think it's obviously important to pick a good nickname that you're happy with. But I think also there are definitely players who pick a nickname and it's just not very good. I've had this discussion with colleagues before where there are players who just have they're trying to go pro and they have these ridiculous nicknames where it's almost hard to take them seriously. So I think it's definitely important, and I think it's important that you pick the right one. But at the same time, if you feel like it's not you don't really identify with the nickname, then obviously change it and build around that. But I think once you really start growing in esports, I think you kind of want to stick to it just so everyone knows who you are, I guess. So
Well, thank you, Mineral.
Thank you.